has on the youth engaging with each other, but not on the cues as we speak today.
Yes, absolutely. Social media makes everything convenient, but unfortunately, young people put that with everything in their lives. So as Vincent was just mentioning to me earlier, he was just saying, perhaps young people are just not committed to going out and voting. But the discussions that we need to be having is how can we advance the voting systems? Why do we advance when it comes to medicine, when it comes to science, technology, but the democratic processes have remained the same? Even my grandfather has voted the same way that we're voting today. So those are some of the questions that we need to be having as young people. Unfortunately, Kenyans have been seeing a lot of fake media on our social media. And if you talk to young people as to where they get their information from, it will either be from Facebook or from community members or family members. They do not verify that information. So propaganda has been something that has been quite relevant in this election period.
All right, Marcus, in terms of developing our voting system, one of the things that may hinder us from doing that is just the aspect of trust. The fact that we have a huge trust issue when it comes to delivering credible elections. Could that be one of the reasons why we've not developed it, even maybe going onto social media or electronic system?
I just want to say something else. Before, I mean, we did a study ourselves as ZLOG on innovative ways of voting, and we did a number of case studies. And one of the things that we suggested was a possibility of the country adopting an online system to vote. But you pointed rightly, this is Kenya as we know it. You think Kenyans can trust if we were to do our voting online? It's a trust problem. And I think, and also trust in terms of the commission, but also trust in terms of institutions themselves. But I would really look forward to us, as Nerima said it rightly, there is need for us to advance as we advance in other areas. But I wanted to say something about the issue, the question of the youth, and why there seem to be a disconnect. But also to remind ourselves that there is a culture, a political culture, where we find ourselves. And where the youth have been used increasingly to not to propagate ideas, but to be agents of violence and to agents of propaganda. So ultimately, what they have bought is not that politics can change their life. They can't relate to politics. It does not change their life at all. So they say, why should I vote when I'm given some money, I go drink pombe with it, and then I come back and cause chaos? They don't see any positive change. Not all, but some of them don't see anything to carry home with.
Mike, I think for me, I question this issue of the commitment of the youth. And when I'm at independence, the guys who ran the government, the guys who brought the country to where most of Kibaki was a minister in his youthful days, same to Tomboy and the rest. So the youth, what I would challenge them is that the whole aspect of what is convenient, we should be able to see that demonstrated through action. I am looking at the people who are spreading propaganda, fake news, who are used as the foot soldiers are youth. Why we are even concerned about the election possibly be turning violent, the foot soldiers will be youth, and those who will be affected the most will be other youth. So then begs the question, if you are committed to the issues of unemployment, the issues that relate to your life, why are you allowing yourself to be also used as an object, not against those who are perpetrating those injustices, but against your fellow youth? So we should, as much as I hear and I champion the interests of the youth, I think there is also the element of questioning and putting everybody into account so that people are held responsible for where they are, irrespective of their status in society.
Nerima, could it be that the youth don't translate how important it is to have a good leader for us to have jobs tomorrow?
Absolutely, and that's why we formed Siasa Place, and that's why we're called Siasa, because we did find that a lot of youth try to separate themselves from politics, and we were trying and we're working on letting them know that politics affects every single thing that you're concerned about or that you do. However, we cannot talk about politics without also talking about the systemic seclusion of youth, because even for us to have that name registered as Siasa was a battle in itself. I almost took it to the High Court. So it was difficult because I was being told, what do you want to do with siasa with young people? So there's an atmosphere in our country, to be frank with you, that it tries to keep youth to be muted, to be ignorant, so that they can be used. Because leaders can only lead those who are ignorant. And that's what's happening in our country. Because we are very often quoting about how our leaders in their 20s were leading this country. Even the likes of Tom Mboya, he was 27 and he was leading a political party. But you cannot see the same for now. And why is that? Why has that changed? Perhaps even the older generation, have they passed the baton in terms of an intergenerational dialogue to be able to encourage the youth to take up leadership mantles? Or do they get there, want to sit there and push you aback and tell you your time is not yet here? They keep telling us the youth are the leaders of tomorrow. Tomorrow will never come. So now you're finding, as soon as young people now start engaging and participating, you're also ostracized in your own political party. A lot of times you are completely kicked out and you find yourself alone. So it's a difficult environment. So I find it very difficult to understand how people are saying, young people need to step up. But in the same token, what is actually a reality is that young people are being pushed to sit down.
All right, we'll come back to you and possibly give us the achievements that you think Siasa Place has done so far and the milestones maybe you've received.